Check, 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 check. All right, let's go. So this first image I took down at the Seoul Metro. I can't remember which stop exactly. And the subframing here is the door of the Metro. The main subject is the girl kind of dead center in the yellow outfit. I remember I saw the girl in the outfit when I was walking by. Happenstance, a subway was pulling up and she was walking in. Got really lucky. She was standing right in the middle. And what I liked about this is she was kind of dead center. So everything was really symmetrical with the subframing and the door. And her outfit, I think, was kind of the main star of the image. It was just had this kind of glow to it. And when she came into the subway and the lights were coming down, it just kind of illuminated even more. Kind of beyond just her in the outfit, I think some other things that worked for it was the blue on the outside of the subway complements the yellow that she's wearing with the hat and shirt. We also have the yellow kind of running with these warning tracks right in front. The other people as well kind of thankfully were in kind of blue or grayscale clothing. If people were in red or green or pink or these other bright colors, the yellow wouldn't have popped the same way. But luckily everyone is in kind of really simple clothes with the colors not kind of being wildly distracting. She happens to be on her phone. People looking at their phones tend to not make the most interesting photos, but in this particular case, I thought it worked because it kind of just shrouds her in mystery a little bit more, especially with the brim of her hat just concealing her eyes as she's looking down. But because we have these other tertiary characters in the background, I think that gives the eye enough space to explore beyond just her being framed in the door. So we have the girl here, she's having a conversation, the guy's looking at his phone, and then we have the man here making the eye contact, which is just another kind of engaging part of the frame. So even though she's looking at the phone, I think all that's going on around her helps as well. Yeah, the subframing here is with the door. I think it's good. You're going to hear kind of a common theme that the subframing itself, it's usually helpful if that just isn't the image by itself. If it's just helping concentrate what's already interesting in the image and it's just kind of an addition. And in this case, I thought it was. So, okay, moving on to the next one. So this one was taken at Namdaemun Market. It's a really famous outdoor shopping market in Seoul. The subframing here we have again is the door. And we have our main subject here, the guy kind of adjusting his sock in the door. So what I think works about this one is we have the guy framed in by the door, but the surrounding environment is part of the larger story or context of what's happening here, because it is just kind of edge to edge shoes, almost kind of like crashing down, pinning in on this guy. But here we have him without a shoe on, right? He's like adjusting his sock and this endless sea of shoes. So because the shoes and the shoeless man kind of have a story together, I think it works. If it was just him again standing in the door frame, maybe that could be an interesting image, but it might just be a guy standing in a door frame. If he was standing in any other part of the frame, it would be hard to see, right? Because you have all of these shoes, that would be a distracting thing and he just might blend into it. But there's just this one open space here in the middle with the door, and then he's subframed in it. So kind of just all pulls together for this one. So yeah, I like this one. It always makes me laugh. All right, this next one I took in the Ujiro district. It's kind of like a worksman area, I guess. A lot of these really narrow alleys, and you see people in their shops kind of working on their different crafts. And in this one, we kind of have two acts of subframing. We have the initial subframing here with the tire, but then within the tire, we have the door frame and the main subject standing in there, framed in by both things. What I thought was interesting about this one was we have his eye line kind of moving out of the subframing, and it connects with this guy's arm that's just leaking in the frame as he's walking by. I love like the positioning of it too. There's something kind of like ominous or menacing about it. And that's all we get, right? Is just a Thanos looking hands right at the top corner. But then everything begins here with the initial subframing with the tire that leads us into the guy, which brings us over here. It would have been nice if there was some more stuff happening on the left side of the image, but wasn't meant to be on this one. There's some technical things that could be better about it. I had to pull a lot of detail out of the shadows, which introduced a lot of noise. Probably not a photo I'd want to blow up in print, but that's what I was seeing with this one, and it's kind of what I enjoyed about it. Okay, this next one I believe was taken in the Gwanghwamun district, which is a commercial district here in Seoul. The subframing is the car windshield, and we have our main subject, the driver, kind of pinned here at the top right part of the frame. It'd have been nice if he was a little bit further forward so it didn't clip part of the eye, but I like it. You just have this really dark part of only these crushed blacks here in the bottom left, this metallic blue that kind of runs through, kind of complemented by the red here, and then just this white eye that kind of pops in that darkness. Some people are kind of divided about eyesight in photos, and I can either take it or leave it sometimes. I think in this one it's okay, but yeah, I like the geometry, the colors, and just the subframing of the eye in this one. Not the most amazing picture, but yeah, I like it. I think it works. And the final image here was taken in the Jongno district. This is a really famous spot for street photographers in Seoul. It's like this really old district. Feels like it's a little untouched by time. So the subframing here, we have the towels that run across the image, and we have our subject behind the towels who's sitting, again, kind of making eye contact through the towel. What I like about this one is it all feeds into the theme here of this barber theme, I guess. So in Korea, especially this area, it's really famous for, not really famous, but it is a popular thing, I will say, for elderly guys to go to these budget barbershops. You can get a haircut for like $5 or $6 or something like that. And they'll often get their hair colored. It's like this really deep, thick kind of shampoo, and whenever they come out, it like almost runs like this kind of greasy gel through their hair. You can actually see that the guy has like this really defined black kind of moosing through his hair, which is the coloring that he's getting done. And maybe in the eyebrows too, they're really thick. And the towels here in the front are actually the towels that they use to clean up after somebody gets their hair cut. So again, I think this is something where the subframing is part of the larger story here, because we have the towels for the barbershop, we have the guy who just got his hair cut, and beyond that, I mean, I think just taking a photo of his face alone could have been an image. He's got like a face you want to look at twice. That's something a friend of mine said, is if you're going to take a street portrait, think like, would you want to see that face twice? And yeah, I would definitely want to see this guy's face twice. The subframing here is just kind of an addition. So I kind of wish the left part of the frame wasn't so empty. Maybe if there's something in there filling it in like a mop or something, but wasn't meant to be on this particular time. But yeah, that was the last photo for the subframing here. So that's going to do it for this one. Thanks so much for joining, and I'll see you in the next one.